Committee. Adequate notice of the February 9, 2023 Township Committee meeting has been provided in accordance with the Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing the same with the Township Clerk. If you would, please stand and join me with our Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Yes, you can stand. Committeeman Cahill.
Here.
Committeeman Mosca.
Here.
Committeeman Francioli.
Here.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Here.
Mayor Gallagher.
Here.
5 members in attendance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for our prayer. Deputy Mayor Mahalko.
Almighty God, please watch over and guide this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding to help make the best decisions for our residents. Please bless our first responders and township employees who help keep us all safe. Also bless our township employees and residents. Lastly, please let us pray for the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces who stand vigil over us always. Amen.
Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First on the agenda is the approval of the Township Committee January 5th, 2023 reorganization meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next order of business is the public hearing and adoption of ordinance numbers 1-2023, 2-2023, 3-2023, 4-2023, 5-2023, and 6-2023. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to convene the public hearing on all of these ordinances.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning any of these ordinances? If so, please state your name and address for the record and which ordinance you'd like to make comment on.
Motion to close. Second.
Now, may I have a motion on adoption of ordinances 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6? Oh, sorry. Motion to close the hearing.
Yes, we need a vote.
Need a motion and a second.
Thank you.
Take the vote.
Roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Aye.
Committeeman Mosca.
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
Mayor Gallagher.
Aye.
5 members. Now may I have a motion to adopt ordinances 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca.
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
Mayor Gallagher.
Aye.
So adopted. Thank you. Next on the agenda, I'd like to introduce 2 ordinances, and I'd like to read each title into the record. Ordinance number 7-2023, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Part 1 of the Township Code, Administrative Legislation, to establish Chapter 55 entitled Municipal Buildings Restricted Areas to Safeguard Records. Ordinance number 8-2023, an ordinance of the Township Committee, Township of Hanover, authorizing a 1% increase in the appropriation limit of the Township's calendar year 2023 current fund budget, and further establishing a cap bank in accordance with NJSA 48:4-45.14. I'd like to state for the record that both ordinances and their respective notices of introduction will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law. Public hearing will be scheduled for March 9, 2023 at 8 p.m. If any member of the public would like to have the opportunity to speak regarding any of these ordinances, they may do so that evening. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance number 7-2023 and 8-23?
So moved.
Second.
On roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca.
Yes.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
Mayor Gallagher.
Aye.
So introduced. Next order of business is the approval of resolutions as a consent agenda. Resolutions number 40-2023 through 60-2023. Does any member of the governing body have any questions regarding any of these resolutions? May I have a motion to approve these resolutions as a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda, we have to pay our bills in the amount of $9,315,141.35. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, we have 3 raffle applications for approval. Raffle application 3382, Morristown High School Project Graduation Tricky Tray. Raffle application 3383, Morristown High School Project Graduation 50/50. And 3384, Whitney Park High School PTO 50/50. May I have a motion to accept these?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor and the members of the committee, that clears the agenda, and I thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone would like to be heard or address the governing body, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and take the floor.
Good evening, everybody. Dan Casiro, 56 Mango Road, Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. On behalf of the residents of Mango Road, I'm here with another resident to thank the committee and the township for the repaving of Mango Road. And that's basically it. It definitely improved the traffic coming up and down Manger, and that's why I'm here and that's why we're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man.
Mark Leibowitz, 52 Mango Road, Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. And when I called Ace this morning, he picked up the phone. I was shocked because I think the only calls he basically gets a lot of times is people bitching. But we're here tonight, as Dan said, to thank you and the committee for completing your job on time. And I have 2 other things I'd like to mention, if I may. And the first is, I moved into town about 50 years ago, and I haven't changed the veterans exemption in 50 years. And I think we have less veterans in town than we do now, so I'm just asking if you would consider it. I think the taxes when I moved in were about $1,400 a year, the house. And the other item I'd like to discuss, and I'm going to ask Ace to expound on the subject we discussed on the phone today, and that's on group homes. Ace, you're a better speaker than I am.
Well, thank you, but I'm actually not, Mark. But, you know, we talked quite a bit about our affordable housing settlement, and we talked about the fact that Hanover Township did take the lead on providing senior housing, which we affordable, because we do talk that we have 26 to 28% of our residents being senior citizens. So we work very hard to address that need and do the best we can to keep our seniors here. Although there's not a mechanism in place to make that fail-safe, we do have that in place, and we do have in place first priority to our veterans, which is important to all of us. And thank you, Mark, for your service, too. We talked about it a little bit today. But what I'd like to say is, Mark and I talked about group homes, and I know this is very near and dear to Ron, and there is an opportunity for us to do more. And after we spoke, I spoke to Ron, and I called Senator Panaccio's office. They immediately want to talk to us about the future, on what we can do. So I called Ron and asked Ron, although that's one of his details as a part of our governing body, if he would want to work with a subcommittee, create a subcommittee and have Ron at the top of the ticket, and I would assist Ron. And between both of us, we pretty much know everybody. Ron graciously said he would love to do it, he'd be honored to do it. So in addition to what this town has done, this governing body has done, I'm asking the Township Committee to give Ron and I the blessing to create a subcommittee to really become an example on what we can do when we put our heads together and address a serious, serious need that we've been addressing, but we can do more. And Ron, if you would like to do that with me, we'll ask the governing body to support it, and I'd be honored to serve with you on that subcommittee.
We've
Hanover's taken the formidable first role with group homes. There's no question about that. I think we're near 11 now. We're proud of the fact that we've done that much, and we thank the Township Committee for the support on that, offering opportunities for them to build group homes because of lease land that we give them, etc. More to do. Program of ARC, for instance, is probably in its 40th year, and some of the group homes need upgrading and changes, etc., and we certainly can use expansion. As we both know, there is something in the neighborhood of 16,000 clients that are on waiting lists or part of homes right now, so the need is critically there. So very happy to pitch in as much as I can, make some more of this happen, so I'll be happy to join it if the committee wants to go forward on it.
I'll move it. I support it.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
Well, congratulations, Ron. The other need that we began to address, and we're going to put it in this category too, is until 2.5 years ago, I didn't really understand assisted living. I didn't understand the difference between a nursing home and assisted living. And we know a lot of our family members are getting older. So we're going to really take a good look at everything, what we could do, even with Tap Into, which we're going to be part of now. Share a lot of relevant information on how to be helpful, how to care for our older relatives, how to talk about the different services available. So we're going to open this up in a new way. And Mark, I'm really glad you got my ear today on this, because I think from tonight on, we're going to be a little more aggressive and fired up, and Ron, you're not going to be flying solo on this one. So thank you. Thank you, Mark. Anyone else like to be heard?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Anthony Scarpino, 19 Old Farm Road, Cedar Knolls. First of all, I'd like to offer my congratulations to Mayor Gallagher.
Thank you, Anthony.
I'm kind of happy to be able to say Mayor Gallagher. I heard this gentleman call you Ace, so I'm not sure what the protocols are.
I answer to a lot of things, but not everything.
Okay. And by the way, my wife Lisa also says to make sure that I congratulate you, and she wanted to offer her best wishes to you.
Oh, thank you, Anthony. Thank
In
you.
your position. I can't help, I got a couple of things I want to mention, but can I comment on these resolutions here? Ask a question about it? The ones you just passed?
Joe,
Specifically, resolution number 54-2023, you authorized the award of a professional services agreement. What caught my eye was without competitive bidding to a Richard F. Smith Jr., a land surveyor, et cetera, et cetera. And there's an hourly rate there, at the survey, an hourly rate of $160 per hour. The contract is for 1 year, but it doesn't really state, well, how much are we on the hook for? I mean, $160 an hour, the guy works 3 hours a year, it's like, well, no big deal. But if he's putting in, you know, buku hours, so the question is why wasn't that competitively bid?
Hey, Mr. Scarpino, I can address your question.
Thank you.
First of all, does not have to go out to competitive bid because under the local public contracts law, if he is a professional, and a professional means if he is a licensed attorney, a licensed architect, a licensed surveyor, a licensed professional planner, there is no need for competitive bidding. In this case, Mr. Smith will be working on behalf of the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment in reviewing development applications that go before the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment. The money to pay Mr. Smith is money that the land use ordinance says has to be put aside by, in escrow, as Mr. Francioli points out, from developers or applicants.
Okay.
So there's no tax dollars involved.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the explanation. Appreciate that. Thank you. So I had a couple of things I wanted to ask. Number one is I live on Old Farm Road, which is kind of landlocked behind Malapartis. No matter which way I come out of my little development there, I end up on Malapartis. Is Malapartis Road on your list of roads that are going to be repaved at some point in time down? In fact, I was going to come here and talk about Jefferson Road, but you've obviously taken care of that. Is there a list of roads that are on, you know, a list somewhere that's going to be where we're talking about paving them?
We do have a list, and we do have a system that we put in place a few years ago, and I'm going to ask Jerry to take the floor, but I want to just let you know how this system works. We discussed years ago that the police and the DPW travel the roads more than anyone. So we have a really good system in place to do evaluations on the specifics, and then we send our professionals out there to follow up based on their recommendations and what they see. So, Jerry, I know we have 2023 slated.
Correct.
Malapartis, is that on your radar at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say most all the roads are on a list that we keep, a road matrix that just categorizes the physical condition of the road in terms of sometimes the cracks, the different defects in the road. When we do our recommendations, it's based on primarily the road condition, but also we do get input from the police departments in terms of if there's a safety issue that's developing, and also the DPW. So we compile that list. I don't know exactly where Malapartis Road is on that list off the top of my head. I have to go back to that list. I can have your contact. I can share that information with you.
Yeah, if you would, I think that would be great. I appreciate that. So it's on your radar, and
Yeah,
it's on
absolutely.
some list, and so at some point in time, it'll be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you can get back to me as to roughly right when that would be good.
Yeah, that'd be.
I appreciate that.
And Jerry, I have Anthony's contact information.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
The mayor will
Okay.
be able to get back to you. Thank you. The second thing I wanted to ask is, many of you know, I'm no longer a part of the Education Foundation, and to clarify, the Education Foundation, Hanover Township Education Foundation, to be specific, we are not the Board of Education, we are volunteers, we raise money. One of our signature money-raising events has always been the 5K. In terms of advertising and marketing, we're always looking for ways in which we can do that, school incentive plan, things of that nature to engage the students, the teachers, etc. The last couple of years, just a couple of years ago, you put the new sign out front. So really, my question is more broad-based. Who can use that sign to advertise for, township activities? Would the Education Foundation be able to use that sign to say, hey, we got a race coming up?
So, Mr. Scarpino, the answer is yes. If it's a community event sponsored by an organization which is based in Hanover
Okay.
Township, the answer is yes.
Okay.
You can certainly contact my assistant administrator, Shelby Snow, and when the time comes to put something on the message board, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, thank you.
And Anthony, we also signed up with Tap Into. We're going to be part of Tap Into East Hanover, Florham Park, Hanover Township, and then we're going to be Tap Into Hanover Township. So we're going to have a special column for organized sports and recreation, and then we're going to have a special column for Hanover Township News. So through Shelby also, anything like
Okay.
this, you send to Joe Giorgio and Shelby Snow,
Okay.
and it'll go out in email, text, and in social media.
That's great, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, it does not appear as if the Education Foundation is in a position to be able to run the race this year. So, it may be a moot point, but I'm glad to know that, the signage is available.
These are available to you.
Okay. The next thing I was going to ask you about was, I own an electric vehicle. I've owned one for 3 years. In fact, my 3-year lease is up this month, getting a new one. I've actually traveled to Florida with my car, using an auto train, so it took about 800 miles out of the trip. But I travel quite a bit, and wherever I go, I'm always looking for electric, car outlet stations in which you can charge. And often you find that town municipal complexes have charging stations right within them. And so my question to you, gentlemen, have you ever considered putting a public use electric car charging station somewhere in the complex?
I'm going to answer it and then pass it to John. On planning board with John, we're looking at a lot of different new construction products that have charging stations built in. And even Eden Lane, who's going to have one for almost every parking spot. John, with all your years of experience and skill set, and even with your environmental commission and green team, has there been discussions about putting something like this on our municipal properties?
Yeah, the good news is
we recently, in the planning board, approved an application that came in front of us that would allow for an electronic charging station. Prior to that, 2 years ago, Hanover was on the forefront for approving a means of using other forms of gas for charging stations. So we're pretty out in front of this.
Could you explain that? What does that mean? Other...
Hydrogen.
Oh,
A hydrogen fueling station.
I got you.
That application has been approved. Now, specifically, we got involved in doing an analysis as to where would you put something like that.
Okay.
And we believe that the best place for that is to get it as close to 287 and 10 as possible.
I agree.
Well, the location that what the applicant brought in was for a location nearby Quick Check, and hopefully that gets perfected.
Okay, great, great. There's a lot of charging stations that are starting to pop up at local establishments. Stop and Shop on, 202 has one, has several. There's an Essex County Environmental Center. I say Essex County, obviously we're in Morris County, but it's literally around the corner from my sister-in-law's house in East Hanover, and they have a charging station there. It's free for the first 2 hours, and it's a nominal fee of $1 per hour thereafter. You also may want to consider, these are what they consider level 2 chargers. You may want to think about a level 3, which is what they call a DC fast charge, which could add 100 miles to a car in maybe 30 minutes. Given our location, because that was the point I was going to bring up, the proximity to 287. There are cars today, especially Teslas, who if you program in, hey, I want to go from here, point A to point B, they'll actually tell you where you can stop and get your and actually direct you to that station so you can stop, maybe grab a bite to eat, get your car charged up, and then continue on your way. So that technology is really starting to advance. So having one in town, I think, would be...
Now, Anthony, when I spoke to you briefly about this, did you ask me if we considered having charging stations at Town Hall or close to Town Hall?
Well, in the municipal
Township?
complex,
Okay.
again, that's my experience. When I worked in Franklin Lakes,
Right.
I've since retired, but the Franklin Lakes Police Department had a charging station right within its complex there, about a mile from where I worked.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Anybody want to weigh in on this? Any comments on this? Okay, anything else, Anthony?
Yeah, one
We're here
last...
for you.
One last thing, and I'll leave you guys alone. I had mentioned that I did resign from the Education Foundation. The main reason is that my wife and I, after 26 plus years, are leaving Hanover Township, and we're moving to Rockaway. That was not my original intention. My intention was to move into Eden Lane. And in fact, I had asked questions about Eden Lane and expressed some interest in Eden Lane probably close to 2 years ago. I was put in contact with a gentleman named Tom Stagan, and all my communications regarding, move-in dates and apartments, apartment types, are all through him. And I was extraordinarily disappointed to have a conversation with him in mid-October, November, sometime in that timeline, when I asked him about the target date at that point was mid-December, and he said, I'm no longer with the organization. And I've come to find out that the whole focus of Eden Lane has changed. It was my intention to stay in town. We did find a place up in Rockaway that has all the amenities that we have here, and it's about $1,500 less per month to boot. So unfortunately, we're leaving town. I didn't want to do that. I'm disappointed that Eden Lane didn't come off. I really, really, really did want to move in there. In fact, I made the comments that I wanted to be the first one in there, but it just didn't work out. I honestly, 2020 supply chain is a lot of issues, etc. But I got to tell you, it seems like they've been dragging their feet there. I don't know when that building would ever be occupied, and it's a shame. And Tom sent me this whole brochure. It had an 8-building complex with 2 pools, a community center. It was really going to be very nice. You had mentioned electric car stations underneath, parking underneath. In fact, the new complex, by the way, has electric car stations all over the place, so not a worry, not an issue. So we're leaving the town April 1st. Disappointed, but got to do what's best. So thank you for your time.
Anthony, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Terry Baird, Winnie, Parsippany in the Whippany section of Hanover. I just had a question about one of the resolutions, and, I found it. 51-2023, it's about the shared services agreement between the various towns in reference to the stream banks. I was wondering, when there's a shared services agreement, one of the agencies is a lead agency, and the others pay, okay, who's the lead of this?
Hanover Township is the lead agency.
Perfect, okay.
And we're proud to announce that through Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, she was able to help us get a $1.5 million grant for the first phase cleanup of the Whippany River, and perhaps the mayor wants to expound on that.
We received $1.5 million. We have $300,000 for the Army Corps of Engineers. We found out after our last meeting that it's going to go through the Department of Agriculture, which is going to make it go much, much faster than if we had to go through the regular channels. We have a private meeting this coming Wednesday with our Congresswoman. We're going to look. We're going to look at where we go from here, what the best areas to start will be, how fast we can have the funding, and they're going to walk us through phases 2 and 3 for funding. What's nice about this is the Whippany River watershed has always done very nice work. This is going to be like the big brother of all the different organizations that work with the river, because we have 22 people at the table, and it's a closed private meeting setting because they're think tank sessions. And what's nice about it too is we all have engineers. We all have access to an incredible engineer that we appointed at the top of the ticket. He's the top guy in Colliers from Maine to Florida. A skill set second to almost no one that I've seen. And we are going to be the head, we're taking the lead on this. It's going to go through us. This is our home for our river remediation task force. And Terry, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we're the lead agency. I was concerned about that. So it's really just a shared services thing, but there's really no money changing hands
It's going to
like
be
you normally would see, because it's basically a vehicle to accept the grant and proceed from there. Okay.
And it also shows the powers that be that we're serious, that we're stepping forward in every way we can as municipalities and a community and a regional approach. And again, we're going to build from here. And the one question that John and I had was, there's 2 municipalities that want to come in, and I have a meeting next week with one of them, but if they come in or not, they're not entitled to any of the money we already secured. They're going to be in round 2 and 3, and it could help us in round 2 and 3, and 2 and 3 are much, much more money.
Right, right. No, I'm glad you're taking the regional approach, because that's so important based on the size of this project, so.
We joke, and it's not a joking matter, but our water problem is Mayor Panullo's water problem. And we're all connected. And Mayor Panullo always says we may not be related by blood, but we're related by community. And we feel like they're our family in Florent Park, and all our groups. Parsippany's a very big person with our big partner with us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry.
Mayor Gallagher.
Thank you. Mr. Kaiser, want to take the floor? Are you good?
I'm good, my man, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to...
Good work. I don't want to repeat what I already did.
Okay. So in
Motion
that
to
case, I'd like
close.
to get a motion. I'll second John's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't know you were doing that.
Okay, if anyone would like to take a minute for a quick highlight, then we'll start with John.
1-minute wrap-up report. Here we go. Operation Streetlight. First step of Operation Streetlight has been a success. We thank all those who participated in providing us with the addresses and locations of the outages. The next step is implementation with JCP&L to get those lights fixed. Next one is EDAC. EDAC has a special event. EDAC is focused on what we call Shop Local. And part of Shop Local is EDAC's going to be hosting a card swap, a business card swap. That's going to be on the night of February 28th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It's going to be hosted at the Double Tap Brew Pub. You need to reserve a spot to be there so that Hanover Township can provide you with some good snacks, some soft drinks, and some pizza. For those who are interested in where do I park, if there's no parking in their lot, you can park overflow behind the Crown Cleaners across the roadway. Third one up is the Environmental and Green Team. There's a major Earth Day event that is occurring on April 20th. It'll be a river cleanup. And on April 29th, there'll be an Earth Day celebration. More details will be coming soon.
Thank you, John. Ron?
Mr. Mayor, just very briefly. First off, I think we all congratulate our sister community, East Hanover, for an incredible change in their governing body's party. I hope it sends a clear message down to Trenton that we on the eastern section of Morris County are not happy with the manner in which fair share housing has burdened us. I hope other communities will review their party positions and maybe fall in line with that as well. So having said that, congratulations Mayor Panullo and all those involved there. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone coming up. Make sure you bring flowers home. And finally, lastly, and somewhat very sadly, I think we're all following the incredible devastation that is going on in Syria and Turkey, with populations now exceeding 20,000 individuals who have died. To put that in perspective, the Hanover Township, with our population of 17,000 plus or minus, sends an incredible, shocking message of how many people were lost, so we pray for them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ron. Bart?
Thank you. A couple of things. First, on February 1st, there were two promotions that became official in the Hanover Township Police Department. First was Sergeant Anthony Vitanza became Lieutenant Anthony Vitanza, and then also Patrolman Rich Kamasta was promoted to Sergeant. So I believe there will be a swearing-in ceremony probably at our next open public meeting, so we'll look forward to that. So congratulations to both of those gentlemen. Since Officer D'Angelo is in here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention congratulations on your positive review and your upgrade in grade, so congratulations, great job, well done. Skipping over to the fire districts, on January 31st, Chief Chad DeGiorgio officially retired. They had a walkout ceremony for him at the firehouse. It was well attended, and we do wish him well in his future. Lastly, I did also, when we're talking about the fire departments, I do want to speak about the fire district elections. They are coming up on February 18th between the hours of 2 and 9 p.m. Voting will be held at the firehouses, so if you're in District 2 firehouse, then that's where that will be, and obviously Cedar Knolls, District 3 will be at the Cedar Knolls firehouse. And this is to vote for their respective budgets as well as commissioners that are running to become either to be re-elected or to be added to the commission. And lastly, I'm sorry, Mike, I don't know if you're going to bring this up, but we do have the Memorial Day Parade coming up as well. Committeeman Faramasco and myself are on the parade subcommittee, in other words, organizing the folks and organizations that are going to march in the parade. I just want to put it out there, if there is any organizations within Hanover Township that might be interested in participating in that parade, please reach out to either myself or Committeeman Faramasco, and we'll be happy to get you on the list. And that's my report.
Thank you, Brian. Mike?
Very good. Good evening. A couple things. I'll try to keep it quick, but it's tough. We've got a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. I'd like to start with the Board of Ed, K through 8. Attended their meeting. Just, again, welcome to the new members. Just want to point out, though, they're moving their meetings to the 4th Tuesday of the month. So in case anybody's interested, there will be a couple months where they bump it to the 3rd because of other conflicts, but in general, it's going to be the 4th Tuesday of the month. And also, I wanted to remind everyone, the Whippany Park High School has a presentation of Little Shop of Horrors coming up, February 23rd, 24th, and 25th. It's a terrific play and musical, and the kids do a great job come out and see that. Moving on to substance awareness, I don't know if you noticed, but one of those resolutions had 2 members being signed up. One was a past member that's signed up again, and we have a new member coming on, Maria Hall. So Kim Knaus and Maria Hall, again, 2 new members joining up with substance awareness. They do a terrific job. They just had a presentation at MDS Memorial Junior School about the hazards of vaping. They also are working on some Narcan training programs coming up, so keep an ear out for that. That's always very important. Also, cultural arts. We just had a fantastic program, the Lunar New Year. Over 300 people attended. Congratulations to Annie Ma and Ed Abalou for putting that together. They did, again, a fantastic job. It was really a wonderful event. We have another event coming up, February 15th, at MJS, Memorial Junior School. The Hanover Wind Symphony is putting on an event over there, 7 o'clock. It's also, again, that's a free event. That's sponsored by Cultural Arts. And I'd also like to welcome a member, Mu Yu, who in the past was very helpful with the Lunar New Year. She actually is from town and is signing up to be on Cultural Arts. So we got a couple new volunteers coming out, and it's great to see, but there's always room for more. So if anybody else is interested, reach out to myself, check out the website, and we'll find a place for you. There's always something. Finally, to wrap up, recreation. There's always stuff going on at recreation, so I'll get through this quick. They had a wrestling trip program to Rutgers. A lot of the youngsters went down there and watched a wrestling meet. They got to warm up with some of the wrestlers, they got some signatures. It was a terrific time. But coming up, excuse me, we got a couple things coming up. We have a family dance party for Valentine's Day. It's a silent disco. So there'll be 2 DJs playing music. You have headphones on, and you're dancing to your own music. It's kind of neat. You do have to sign up for that, and that is tomorrow night. The space is very limited, so check it out. Check out the website right away. We also have another event coming up on March 4th. It's a Mahjong tournament at the community center. It's going to be on Saturday, March 4th, 10 to 3 o'clock. There's a few seats left for that. Again, check out the website. One more event that's coming up I want to point out is on March 7th and March 16th. We have, for those people that have pets, it's first aid for pets. It's really a forgotten kind of territory. And they're putting on 2 events, again, March 7th and March 16th. It's like $4 and $5 a person to come out, and they'll teach you through the basics. So again, check out the website, more information there, take a look. Final thing, keep an eye out. It seems weird to be talking about it already, but pool registrations will be coming out in a couple weeks. And the registration begins on March 1st. A lot of improvements we're looking for the pool, a lot of things coming up, so keep an eye out. Again, keep an eye out for your packet. If you haven't signed up in the past, now's the time to join. There's early registration, so get on that early. There is a price increase as you get later into the season, and we've had a couple of really good years of attendance, and always adding more programs. We're going to have summer concerts. We're going to have the Parrot Head Band back again. There's so many things that I don't want to list, but check out the website again. A lot of good stuff going on.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot of beautiful things going on.
Yep, always.
Keep everybody busy. I just have 3 quick ones. This Saturday is our budget meeting, our annual budget meeting. I just want to say the Township Committee and all our professionals have been working very, very hard. We are going to be here as long as it takes to deliver the best budget we can. I just want to thank everybody for their preparation. Silvio, we are going to get you a Red Bull for Saturday because you're going to be working harder than we are. 2 more things. February 22nd, it's going to be limited space, but we're going to have a drug, alcohol, mental health awareness seminar at the Jets Training Facility with Sheriff Gannon and the Mental Health Association. We're talking about, once again, the reintroduction of our youngsters into society, and we're going to be talking about drug trends, telltale signs, and a lot of different organizations to contact if you believe a loved one is beginning to struggle. which is very, very important because it's private, it's sensitive, and it's a very scary road that too many people are going down, unfortunately. And March 3rd is going to be our big law enforcement night at Menon Arena, Friday night. This is the first time we have so many law enforcement organizations that want to participate. We had to stop it at 10. It's going to be a big night, it's going to be a great night. Everybody is welcome. Come hang out, try on some equipment, sit in some vehicles, bring your families, it's going to be great. So to conclude, I say this to you a lot because you're with us quite a bit, officer, but I'm going to ask Committeeman Mahalko to get in touch with the chief and let him know that we feel very safe with you in the room. So thank you very much, God bless you, be safe, and congratulations for your good report too. So that does it for me, guys. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion
I
to
got
adjourn.
one more quick comment.
Go ahead, man.
I overlooked it when I was going through, it comes back to Lunar New Year. And I want to thank Brett from the Hanover Eagle. He did a terrific job covering it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, he quietly sits back, he takes pictures, he takes great notes. I appreciate it, and it was some really good press for the Lunar New Year, and again, all of our functions. He really shows up at a lot of them. Thank you, Brett, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really nice, because you did and you do, so thank you, Brett. I appreciate you pointing that
Mike,
out.
let me, if I might, Mr. Chairman, let me piggyback on Mike for a second, because you brought up something interesting with Sheriff Gannon as well. I just want to remind everybody, March 1st, the Seniors Club meets at noon here at the Community Center. The reason I bring that particular meeting up, Sheriff Gannon will be the keynote speaker, and he's going to talk about something that affects us all, mostly our seniors population, scams. And in all types of scams that are going on, which are costing our seniors in our communities lots of money and losses. So if you want to join us, that's the date, March 1st. It's a Wednesday at noon. There is no charge. Pass it on. Thank you.
You know, we'll do our, we'll put it out on Tap Into, we'll put it out with Brett, and
Yes,
we'll put it on
we
the
should.
Sun. That's a
We
really
should.
important topic.
I'll notify Shelby.
Okay, anything else, guys? No, that's it. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
I wanted to...